I think it definitely made me more confident. I got a lot more confidence through that game and through that experience, and I definitely understand now that the process of the game week itself is critical. I prepared much more. I was much more focused throughout the week, and I feel like that prepared me better than any other time that I did. The first 2 weeks were kind of like I was still trying to get into the groove of things, and now I really found something that works, and I'm just going to continue to do that and make sure that everything every week is the exact same and prepare as well as I can for each and every game.
What specifically was different in your preparation? What do you do different this last week, getting ready for Oregon versus the first couple of weeks?
Well, the big emphasis this week was just focus. So I just wanted to focus on all the little things, make sure everything. Make sure my body feels right, stretching, making sure my warm-up's consistent and it actually warms me up properly, just getting all those things that could possibly give me a chance of messing up on Saturdays, making those not become a factor.
Being from the Pacific Northwest, how much did that game mean to you? I'm sure you have seen and watched a lot of Oregon football, just being where you're from originally. Yeah,
no, it felt good to play that team and get the W against them because one of my high school coaches used to play there, and he wasn't really pleased when we beat them, but he definitely was proud of me. And it was one of those experiences that you don't really get a lot of opportunities like that, and especially to play a team that's right around from where you went to high school. So I think it was a really solid experience, and it was a lot of fun.
Caleb, you were obviously put in a really tough position this year. What was that like, having to deal with Sam's death, and then everyone's eyes are on you as the guy that has to take his place?
I didn't really think of it as pressure. Because what Sam told me, he told me that he wanted me to do the best that I possibly can. He told me that pretty much right before he went to Wisconsin. Like a few days before that, he told me that he thinks that he doesn't want me to do anything that anybody else tells me to do as regards as how to kick the ball. Just go and do you, and kick the ball how you know how to kick the ball, and don't let anything influence you too tremendously that it makes you think too much about the game or do any of that type of stuff. So I think just going out there and doing the best that I possibly can is what would have made him happy. It makes me happy. It makes all the people that around me happy. So I think just doing the best that I possibly can is what I'm going to do, and that's what he would have wanted me to do.
I mean, you probably got a pretty big shock when I take it that you weren't planning on kicking this year.
No.
So, I mean, what was that like? Suddenly, you're in that spot.
I was just shocked. I mean, there's words that can't really explain how that feels. It's one of those things that it's like a life-changing moment, and it's heartbreaking. And at the same time, you realize you have to step up and focus and be a good teammate and try and play the best that you can for your team and obviously for Sam.
Do you feel in any way that the fact that it took you maybe a couple games to get to where you want to be from a preparation standpoint was just the fact that it was kind of late news that you were going to be doing what you're doing, so it took you a little bit of time to adjust to being a college punter?
It did. I would say that it did, but I think it was mostly me really getting comfortable. So the adjustment would just be comfortable rather than actually getting the technique or whatever you would say to actually become that caliber, because I know deep down that I'm here for a reason, and I think it was mostly mental. All of the weeks leading up to Oregon were mental, and I think that's where I made my biggest strides were in the mental aspect of the game leading up to Oregon.
How difficult was the Fresno game, coming out in the 10-man formation and then you coming out? Can you just kind of throw out that game because of the emotion?
I wouldn't say throw it out, but I mean that's something that I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life. That's the one thing that I sincerely cannot describe how I felt walking out onto the field with knowing that Sam was pretty much with me the entire time. You can't really describe something like that. It was just it was one in itself. So.
You had 3 kicks inside the 20 on Saturday. A lot of punters look at length and how many distance, but what does that mean to get the ball inside and really trap an offense?
It just flips the field position. So obviously, my job is to put our defense in the best situation as they can be, and so the offense has as like the worst possible time they can at scoring. So I think that's the sole purpose of a punter, is to get the best field position for our defense as possible and the worst for the offense. So I think when you say inside the 20, obviously the other team's worried because they don't want to be inside the 20.
Anything else for Caleb?
Pretty good conditions on Saturday, temperature-wise. Has the wind, gotten in your head yet? Sometimes the wind in the stadium can be really weird. What do you think about that?
Yeah, against Wyoming, it definitely was a little weird. It was a little strange because I knew it wasn't as bad as I've punted in before, but I think it did get in my head that game. But after that, I knew that I needed to just focus up, and I knew that if I were to just prepare properly, regardless of the weather conditions, I was going to perform to a good mark on the next Saturday. So that was how it went on Oregon. And fortunately, it was really good weather on Saturday, so the wind didn't play much of a factor at all, going either way.
What are your thoughts about your first road game, going to Big Ten at Northwestern? Just your thoughts.
I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think it's just going to be another game. Just going out and preparing this week as if it was against Oregon again or against like Ohio State or something like that. So I'm just going to go out there and focus just as keenly as I would any other game.